compLexity and Renegades scoring off in the Swiss system, best of one here, round two, of course, as we go into day number 2. We just saw our first matchup, and we're going to be jumping right into the action of the second one. But, of course, I can't do it without these goons to my left. We're going to start with Chad and Jacob. Guys, welcome back to another StarSeries. I didn't really get to ask you guys beforehand about your time in Kiev and what do you think about it. I know you've never been here. Chad, what are your thoughts?
I've been here several times. It's a good place. The food is good. It's good in summertime when the sun is out. And I would recommend coming here if you have a free weekend.
And as he says that to me with his dead eyes, I'm going to ask you, Jacob, what do you have? What do you think so far?
He hasn't even been outside yet. He crossed the bloody road, mate.
I did that. Did you see that?
I'll take you out for dinner tonight. You'll love it.
Oh,
we'll go get a steak.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
can come too. I can pay, yeah.
You'll pay?
Yeah, I'll pay.
Cool. No, I'm good.
You don't want to come?
We hang out a lot, so it's kind of like...
That's why I want to hang out with you more. I thought we were like friends. But let's just do a big shout out to the sponsors, everybody. We got LootBet, CS Money, Hellcase, and NVIDIA. And I want to thank HTV.org personally. So we ready to get this one underway?
Yeah, you did pretty good right there. compLexity versus the Renegades squaring off, where in which both teams did falter just a little bit yesterday. It was pretty close matches, but you know, it's not the end of the road for them. You lose in the first round of the Swiss system, you do get some shot at redemption. Now, Jacob, do you have something to say that could supersede anything Chad was ready to say?
Probably. I feel this event for compLexity is going to be their... It's gonna lay out the season for them. It's gonna lay out the lane for them. I feel they have to figure out whether they're top team or not. They have to figure out whether the major was a fluke or not. And I think the first signs we saw yesterday against Gambit were not good signs. Gambit is effectively, to me at least right now, a half-dead team, a team that wants an in-game leader. They don't have an in-game leader. They want to get Hobbit out of the team, or he wants to leave the team, and he hasn't been able to do that yet. So losing to Gambit on Dust 2 yesterday was not a great sign for them. I want to see compLexity actually play up to the level we saw at the major and not just sharing the ball.
I think that's a good point in the sense of they do actually have a decent lead in until the next major, so they can work out what pieces of the puzzle they're happy with or not happy with. It would be a shame if they didn't get any results to stick with the same roster and go, oh no, you know, we can battle through, we can do it again, because they're in their infancy as a team, really, like on the world stage. So an event like this is a really good, I guess, testing ground for them. And we have a similar thing with this Renegades team who have just changed roster, which I get a lot of thoughts about, Trace.
I mean, those are your friends, right? You all kind of come from the same little islands down there.
Yeah.
So.
A lot's changed on the screen right here. If you look at the three on the left-hand side, Jacob, Azure, and JKS, they would have been with you last time you tuned into a StarSeries event. However, Liaz and Gratisfaction is actually from New Zealand, are the two new additions. Now, what we need to keep in mind here is that Ustillo and Nifty have gone their separate ways. Ustillo was actually taken off of the team, and Nifty left for greener pastures. I mean that in the figurative sense of money, to Envious. So we have an interesting new Renegades now with Azza doing the in-game leadership role, and Kassad has reappeared, which I think Kassad is a fantastic coach. I just don't think they should have brought him in for this. They should have let Azza learn on the fly, because if he's going to be the long-term in-game leader, I think the best way to do it is just throw him straight into it.
Now, Chad, you did say greener pastures, and that's not something anyone's really talking about, because that has absolutely no bearing on this matchup other than the fact that Nifty has left this Renegades team. What do you guys think about this Envious lineup?
I think it's a lineup with a lot of media corners. I think it's an average lineup, and I think there's a lot of needs just by looking by the players. I think it's a little bit lackluster to see an organization like Envious re-enter the scene with not a better team like that.
Would
honestly.
you join them?
I would not join them.
Oh, well that really lays it all out there for you, doesn't it?
Does spill the beans. Thank you very much, Jacob. Never one to hold punches, and I can for sure respect that. Just like compLexity, having punched quite a few times there in the major, they did earn their ticket all the way up through. And for what it's worth, a lot on Inferno. Yeah. Perhaps, what do we say about this compLexity team now that they've, come off the big stage?
I think that it is still a learning curve for them. I don't want to say they didn't get counter-stratted or whatever at the major. People just didn't look at them like they were a threat. And that doesn't take anything away from their run. You can only beat the teams who are in front of you. And if those teams don't prepare hard enough for you or don't give you the respect that you deserve, then you're going to make it as far as you should. Once they got to the playoffs, it was somewhat lackluster from them. They got knocked out with relative ease. I just think if we look at that run, as you mentioned, Trace, which is bang on, that Inferno was basically the catalyst to their success. Now you juxtapose that to the 7 maps that Renegades have played. They've only played Mirage, Dust 2, and Inferno. So there is a high likelihood that we will see Inferno come out here, which they lost to CyberZen on yesterday.
Yeah, and well, for what it's worth, CyberZen did come out swinging, hang-dangs.
Throwing bottles at people.
Yes, throwing bottles at people. They got a few A-Lamals in there, if you will. And I guess ultimately, if we look at this Renegades lineup a little bit further in depth, stepping away from the compLexity lineup, Renegades, yes, you talk about Azure needing to learn that role within the team without support, but you would know him best. Is this going to be a player that can excel at the IGL role going forward?
I think he can definitely do it. When I was in-game leading the team, that he was the type of guy for me who would always be like, okay, you know, this is their money situation, or he'd come up with suggestions if we're running out of strat ideas.
So like the secondary.
Exactly. So he's got it in him. I just hope it doesn't detract from his game, because I think I'm one of the only people in the world, or at least on the world stage, who are still touting that I believe that JKS and Azza are world-class players. Thing is, they haven't shown it, and that's why no one is going to be, you know, signing on to that. No one is going to be like, yeah, Chad, you're right. But I would like them to show it. What I was going to hope to happen with this Renegades team was them to completely dismantle, or really just tool around one of the two, JKS or Azza, and start a whole new team. Let them go somewhere else and show their skills. But unfortunately, we get left with this mix, and I understand why.
I've got a projected lineup that could have went for the Renegades team.
Okay, hit me.
All right. There's Nothing. There's Skadoodle. You know, he's having a hard time over Cloud9 or whatever's going on over there.
Sure.
There's Shroud. He's really good at any game he touches, so he would be a really good fit.
Okay.
You could throw in there like maybe a Freakazoid and perhaps even a Sean Gares.
Okay.
So what do you guys think about this lineup so far?
I think it sounds pretty good, actually.
Sounds better than the one we have, yeah.
Yeah. No, but staying on topic for a little bit longer, just if people aren't so aware with Gratisfaction and Liaz, I think Liaz actually is a very similar player to that of JKS. Quite slow, quite methodical, very clutch within the region, also doesn't smile. And Gratisfaction is replacing Nifty within that AWPing role. Now, these guys are coming from Teams Order and Teams Greyhound, respectively, to Australian names that you may have heard of. Obviously, IM Shanghai was where Gratisfaction was last with the Greyhounds.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a look at the results they have produced so far in the online leagues, Jacob has been playing pretty well with this new roster of Renegades, and I think that's the key for success for them. He needs to be established as the star player for this team, because he is, whatever you want, ASR, whatever it's called, ACR, what's it called?
Azza.
Azza, there
yeah.
you go. Close.
ACR. You're close.
Azza. Whatever you want him to be a star player, whatever you think JKS is a star player, Jacob is the only one who have ever shown it on a big stage. So you want to facilitate him as being the star player, and so far, it's succeeded for them.
Let's talk about where this one lands, because, guys, this is a best of one. Anybody can win in these situations, unless you're big, because apparently you can't string together more than 3 rounds.
compLexity gave a free ban here to Renegades. I have no idea why you would remove Nuke when you know that they've only played 3 maps, unless you know something from practice. I would have been looking to remove something along the lines of like a Mirage or a Dust 2, that way you're always going to get your Inferno. They even removed Inferno. I guess this here is going to leave us with the map pool of, like I just mentioned, Mirage, Dust 2, and Cache.
Wait, compLexity removed Inferno.
Yeah. And Cache is a map where I can actually see Renegades being proficient on. It is quite a simple map. So we're now down between Mirage and Cache, and it will end up being Mirage.
Nice. They did this yesterday as well in the video, where they ended up picking Dust 2 against Gambit, which I felt was a little bit unheard for. Wasn't needed to do that. So it feels like, to me, compLexity have no confidence in their map pool right now, and they already know now that pre-major or after major, they're not playing the same game they were.
It's very interesting to see the maps here on the right-hand side for Renegades. They've only actually played 3 of those games with this roster, which would be the ones in green, the E-United, compLexity, and Rogue victories. And they all came during the ESL Pro League, which just happened in the last week, Trace. Whereas if you look at compLexity, they lost to a team called LMFAO.
Yeah,
I mean,
not
they
to
beat
be
a team called
confused
LMFAO.
with, we're not party rocking around here, am I right?
Who are the guys in that group? There's 2 dudes. Red Foo? Something
yeah,
Foo?
Red Foo. I thought you were going to say Method Man. I was
Party
gonna make fun
rocking
of you,
in
but
the house tonight.
yeah, man. That used to be the jam back in the day. And in fact, the only jam up could be here on Mirage, where in which one of these teams might get jammed up. And I guess I could ask you for predictions, but we're not quite there. The reality is this. What players should we be looking out for on either side of this?
Already highlighted it. I think if we look towards Renegades, we gotta look towards Jacob. I think he's the best player on the team, and he has been the best player when you consider his entire career. Together with JKS, I think he is, as you said, if I were to buy one of those 2 players, I would buy JKS. He is a star player. He has shown it before, and he's good at the game, right? But he has just not shown it on the big stage, and not consistently enough for me to actually buy into it. So you want to see those 2 go off at the same time, preferably. You have a chance. Whereas for compLexity, Yeaster, I feel was the big surprise during the major, and then Stanislaw as well. He was playing well yesterday. He was the best fragging player for compLexity. So if you have your bonus in-game leader doing well, then go ahead.
We just had the loot bet code up on the screen. Use SLTV on their website for things. I'm not sure what those things are, but head over there. You guys can tell me. You can tweet back at me.
Cool
and
stuff in there. Lots of cool stuff.
Well, we don't know. I would like
know.
the reconnaissance to come on in. So tweet at me with the hashtag. Chat is great. I think just to give not play devil's advocate, but just to maybe give a different version of what to look out for. I think it's very important early to see positive signs out of Gratisfaction and Liaz. I don't mean that they have to carry. I just want to see them feeling comfortable within the team. I think that's a win condition for Renegades, that they're not anchoring the ship in a negative sense, slowing them down. I think you're bang on with the complexity side of things. Ye is this kind of player who, he's definitely the loud, very boisterous player. We got a chance to listen to them and their communication, and he seems to be the pump-up man. So if he's playing well, that'll go hand in hand. And then Shazam, as it is his birthday, and it'd be nice to get some AWP kills on your birthday.
And the thing about Ye is he's got this $1 billion smile. Like, this thing is contagious. I can see Pimp smiling right now across the desk, just talking about it.
You mean Pimp? Oh, here's a fun little stat off of the 3 games on Mirage that Renegades have played so far. When they lose the opening kill, so they receive the opening death, they've only been able to convert 23.5% of the rounds. So that's not a good sign. Entry kills are going to be a very important factor for this Renegade squad going forward, at least in the early stages. They're able to capitalize, at least statistically speaking, in those power play scenarios. And then if I'm going to quickly, as I can with my fingers, my little digits, I'm going to make it as swift as possible to see if we have a similar kind of stat line with this complexity roster, at least with the core.
Just see the difference in the face right now. Complexity being all like loosened up, hyped up, smiling, whereas the Renegades guys are super, super focused. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, Jet. You know them better than I do, but it seemed like they were a little bit locked in their positions and not really feeling loose and free and fun.
Scared for their lives, some might even say.
Yeah, I think that a lot of this, at least the Renegades organization, are not happy where the team is at, and they want them to be better. So, yeah, well, that's true, right? And I think, but when you consider the context of the North American region, there are some terrible teams there, right? No, there are. There really are some terrible teams in that region.
Are they one of them, though?
But
like,
Renegades, I don't think Renegades are one of the terrible teams there. I think they're one of the teams with promise, and they've always been, you know, within that top 5 within North America for some time. And I just think that this is why this team has gone on long enough that I wanted to see the better parts go to better teams. Yeah. That was why I was pushing that kind of agenda on Twitter, at least. But the fact that they're trying to do this again from an organizational standpoint, they have an ESL Pro League spot. You know, they're guaranteed. Well, they're not guaranteed. They have a very good shot at the next minor. There's all these bits and pieces. They have an invitation to IEM Chicago. There is reasons to keep the team around as opposed to dissolving it. There's a lot of money involved here, right? So I understand their attempt to do this. I just hope that they aren't too disappointed.
Well, the unfortunate part is when we talk about Renegades, we don't normally say they're synonymous with the best of the best across the planet, right?
Sure.
But the organization has definitely left its mark within CSGO. This is one we could even put up along the likes of Envious that you would expect to be showing after this amount of time. For you to sit here and say them to go separate ways and maybe part out, I can understand that. I can see where, like, hey, at JKS, where would he go? You know, where would these guys graduate to, so to say?
I think that one for me where I thought Justin would always be valuable was in that Cloud9 roster when they were struggling with a 5th. Now this is over a year ago now that was a thought of mine. But now the North American region seems to be in a bit of limbo. I think, like I said, there are a lot of teams with a couple of key players who could maybe get put together on a roster. This Envious team, for example, you look at that team. There are players on that roster who they don't seem like they would work together. It looks like there's 3 AWPers on that squad, right? So there's just question marks around a lot of these different units out there, and maybe different teams could be built, but there are contract issues and that kind of stuff, and it's kind of taking away from I guess building the best teams humanly possible.
Well, you think about North American region, right? You're not going to see this Liquid lineup go anywhere anytime soon,
I hope
unless
not.
the
I hope not.
Unless the 2nd and 3rd place curse kind of breaks them apart at the core from the seams start to crack.
Never say never when you talk Liquid, though.
Okay.
I mean, if they see an opportunity, if they see a Brazilian player, one from MIBR may get missing, you know, they will instantly pick them up. Liquid is one of those teams that acts on the market, you know, are very active on the market. We saw that with Taco bringing him in when they had Steel. You saw that when they brought in Netfly as well, Twist for that matter as well instead of me. They're very active, and if they see an upgrade and a potential of upgrading, they will.
Dad?
No, I actually agree with that sentiment. I think the problem does become these majors and where the majors are kind of situated. It forces you to hang on to a core 3. Yeah. Whether that is, you know, a positive thing or a negative thing, I think we're all about longevity of rosters and allowing teams to try as much as humanly possible to work through mistakes. It also restricts teams from making these roster changes. Now, you asked about the knife round before, Trace, when we were talking about Inferno. I think Mirage is even more of a similar boat. Doesn't really matter what side you're starting. Certain teams may prefer to start on that T side once again to get the momentum going.
Maya.
What?
Maya.
Who?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who?
That's Liaz.
This is like a first name or something?
I don't know, maybe that's his girlfriend's name?
I hope it's not a girlfriend thing.
Oh, dear. The girlfriends have come out here, and the knife round is over. Renegades have taken it. And just like the girlfriends who take your souls, Chad, take it away.
Well, once they take them, you can't get them back, Trace. I think in this one here, Renegades I think they should actually probably opt to start on that T side. I know that sounds counterintuitive to a lot of people at home, but I think they're going to be so heavily momentum-based that they need to get off to a good start. On the CT side, let's say that they lose the pistol. Let's say that they go into a force buy in the second or third, and then as we move into the fourth, they don't have enough money to get the AWP on Grat. They don't have all that utility. They're already 5 rounds in the hole, mate.
Yeah.
And no one likes to be in the hole.
No one likes to be in the hole unless you're Shia LaBeouf. Now, let's talk a little bit further about how this could square up right at the beginning.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams have some lackluster stuff going on within the teams. I think both teams are kind of struggling with finding the path right now. As for complexity, again, I want to see Ye. I want to see him play well. I want to see Stanislaw as well, you know, having an impact in the game. And I want to see Shazam as well, firing it up. Yesterday, he was not playing well. He was decent, but he was not up to the level that he has to be. And that's the thing with complexity. If they want to be a top team, if they want to be a consistent top 15 team and one of the best teams in NA, you need your star players to consistently deliver and not only deliver once every 3rd month.
So, Jacob, with that, who do you have winning this?
I think I'm gonna go with complexity in this one.
Yeah.
I have to. Renegades, I haven't seen enough from them yet. I do feel that Jacob is kind of finding his old form slowly but surely, and if he can do that and keep doing that, that's gonna be dangerous for any team they're facing. Same goes on for JKS. We need to see him play well. Those are my 2 players that I want to see play well from complexity. For Renegades, and want to see do well if they have any chance at all doing this complexity game.
I think it's very difficult to see Renegades in this early iteration of the roster have any success against a top 8 team at the Face It Major.
Yikes.
I think the LAN experience, I think that the quality and caliber under pressure for complexity is there. I think the Renegades may potentially have more firepower down the stretch, but the stretch is the rest of 2018, not this event. And they lost to CyberZen yesterday. So I'm going to have to go with complexity, Trace.
Oof. You hate to hear it when the Australian votes against the other Australians and that one New Zealander. Either way, I think complexity take this one to the hole. You know why? Because Jason Lake is kicking the tires and lighting the fires, baby. That's what it's all about. Complexity coming back in the map. 2018 is the year. Okay, I can't really say all that.
You were getting excited.
That's a little much. I was feeling it. I was feeling letting the Jason Lake flow through me.
I saw it. I did see it.
Well, get your red ties out. It's time to jump right into this one. It's time to kick off a little bit of Mirage et Trois and for us to jump into complexity versus Renegades. Take it away over there, guys.
Wow, we got a full cold desk, and I can't say I'm overly surprised, especially like it wasn't mentioned so much, but yesterday's performance was, I would say, surprising. Like they bottled it, I think is the way that I'm going to put it. And while he was absolutely incredible in the map, the guy from CyberZen, who I'm actually excited to see how CyberZen will perform today. Obviously, they're against Mouse Sports, so that's a little bit of a different story. They should get destroyed. But if they put up a good performance, maybe we can see that it wasn't just like Renegades, but I feel like a lot of it was. Obviously, a very new team, but at the same time, they got one of the maps they actually were playing quite a bit, and they were up against a team that they should have really been able to destroy. So going into today, obviously, I feel like Complexity's game against Gambit was more of like, I feel like Gambit sort of did show up on the day, and they're one of those teams where you just sort of watch them and you go, well, sometimes they're good and sometimes they're so bad. It's just
the
annoying.
high highs and the low lows. It's the VP effect, Tom. I think even less so now for VP. Definitely more so for Gambit. They kept the same similar roster at least with moving Mira in a few months ago. Yeah, again, the birthday boy on your screens now. Shazam, 25 years old today, hoping for some big AWP kills, hoping for some plays from him, and hopefully Complexity get what they want for their birthday today, or at least Shazam does. But again, Renegades, like, not to be slept on. We've already seen on the desk JKS, Azza, according to Sponge, they are some top tier players, and hopefully we'll see. Now the thing is, I think with these two teams, you get a sloppy game, you get an entertaining game, right? It's not going to necessarily be the best Counter-Strike you're ever going to see, but it's going to be entertaining, and that's at least what I want to see here. Interesting enough, with the veto going the way of Mirage, right? Again, similar territory for both these teams. Complexity actually vetoing the map that got them through the major in such a dominant fashion as well. Again, they took it over the likes of Fnatic, Vega, etc. I think they played it 5 times in the qualifiers. In the best of ones, and only lost it to Astralis. So that's a pretty impressive run.
Enough.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive run. But not wanting to play it today again, we saw Renegades play it yesterday, and even these two teams played a Pro League match recently where Renegades even played Mirage and beat them on it. So it's not like Complexity don't have things to go off to look back on and to try and work on coming into this game. And when you lose a game, it's so much easier to be self-analytical and go, okay, these are our problems. This is how they set up. This is what they countered us with. Let's work on this. Whereas if you win a game, it's very easy to fall back into we won, we don't need to improve anything, when that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, I think it depends, for me at least, on when Kassad was back. Because if they lost before, then well, actually he may have gone through it anyway, which I think is a big deal. If he hasn't gone through it, then okay, maybe there may be some problems here. And I think complexity, as you said, I think they definitely would have gone over that one, especially going into today. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm still focused, for me at least, on Jacob. I think he could easily be the best player in the server, and I think realistically, if he's up to standard, I'm not sure that complexity will be able to hold him off. He is an absolute beast. Either way, we are into our pistol round. We are going to have a fairly A-heavy setup at the moment. Mid-push coming out from Azure. We'll spot a few players in the underpass, and that sort of leads them to think it's going to be over towards the A side. Nice couple of shots already coming in for the CT side as they get the 2 openers, and now the push is going to come in towards Jacob. There may not even be anybody left by the time they get to him, but he'll get the first anyway and leave it all onto Ye.
Yeah, bomb dropped. Ye not even armored here. Not that will matter. Jacob only hits headshots or gets headshot. Ye will find 1 kill, but that's all that's going to happen here for complexity. A nice clean round from Renegades to kick things off. And yeah, good information play as well, right? We see that early B push from Liaz. He gets a bit of information. B apartment is clear. As it walks down connector, spots 2 in underpass, and by that point they go, okay, B's clear, there's 2 underpass, it's an A split, Jacob's already ready for the ramp push, and by that point there's just too much information for Renegades to lose that round. So there's the 1-0. They aren't favoured in the odds on loot bet, but hey, they're favoured in the score.
Yeah, and a strong start, especially I feel like Mirage is a map where a lot of the time you do see quite a lot of streaks just based on momentum. Like I think it's another one of the sort of like Dust 2 maps where a lot of the time the side doesn't matter so much. Liaz straight through the wall. It's actually going to be added to burn him out. I'm glad he decided to change his name back. It was very, very helpful. Yeah. It was one of the most tilting things when you're... Because every once in a while you read out whatever the other name is. And I think it was, at least in the past, it was normally some of the Swedes who would just have some of the most ridiculous name you'd ever see.
Before people would actually enforce that, I hated it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that it's enforced.
Well, I think the one that confused me most recently, I think it was actually Tyloo. Because they had... Like, I think where they were from, so it was like the one was called like Shanghai and stuff. It was so confusing. Either way, this is a great shutdown coming in from Renegades, and I think you actually looked in the stats before on their CT side, and it was something like their conversion of second rounds, if they win the pistol, is ridiculous, but then their force buy wins were awful.
Yeah, to be more specific on that one, it's more on their CT side than anything. When Renegades, on the T side, when Renegades win their T side pistol, they convert 100% of the time. That's out of every single time they've won T-side pistol, they always convert that second round. When it comes to their force buys on the CT side, they have won 0% of the time. So yeah, that's not a good stat, but luckily Renegades don't have to worry about that right now. They are 2-0 up, and this is about to be 3 without a doubt. We have full Glocks for complexity after all. And Renegades, they're flexing here. They're not hiding back. They're not allowing complexity to have the room, although the bomb plant will come in. Jacob has a Molotov, but it's not going to go down, and Shazam gets a plant. That's a good round for complexity. A kill, a bomb plant on a round that you don't spend $1 on. Yeah, that's a profit margin right there. So 3-0 for Renegades, but complexity, they'll have everything they want.
Yeah, it is going to give them a much stronger buy, lots of utility available, and also, more importantly, the AWP on Shazam, which is exactly what you want to have in play. And on the other side of things, still going to be keeping a little bit of a bonus round. In fact, other than JKS, they're going to have plenty of cash going into the future rounds as well. So definitely a strong position for Renegades and a chance to really do some damage. The fact is, even if they get 3 or 4 kills in this round and then combine to the next one, it still leaves them in a very, very good position overall. Of course, they do come up against a tough fight.
I do definitely throw a question mark on putting a SMG player in the mid window. It is an MP5, but yeah, I'd much prefer to see a rifle there from Renegades. Regardless, they won't be pressured there this round. It's going to be Def putting a bit of damage down on B, although receiving a hell of a lot more, down to 28 points of health. Complexity still with 2 players outside that A bomb site, but with the position of the bomb plus the core of Complexity, it definitely looks to be a late round B play. They can always send these players with the utility up into mid, go for a short split. Again, Renegades, while Complexity don't know it just yet, they don't have an AWP, so a mid split up short could be so good right now for Complexity. For now though, they send 2 players underpass. As is pushed up in the B apartments as well with the help of that smoke. Gratisfaction will spot the lower push, and that's going to be a nice nade. Dunk onto Android. Definitely looked like it could have done more, but nades could be weird in this game. If it landed maybe on a step, it might have sponged some of the damage. But on with the Aussies, and they have no idea where compLexity are right now. Gratisfaction has no info on window because he doesn't want to wide peek with an SMG. Az is pushed all the way around from the back line, and Def, he's dead to rights there. Knife out, and yeah, bullet to the head. Az is taking the frag, and now compLexity going back for an A play, but Renegades are stacked.
Yeah, the clock as well. They only got 25 seconds to actually make their move. Now, Stan will at least remove the man from jungle, but there's still 3 players on the site, and they don't have that much time to deal with them. Jacob's already going to manage to find one. Now the crossfire comes into play. Okay, it's only a trade, but the fact is they've got 10 seconds left. Ooh. They really have to find these final kills, and there is still JKS in the side, and he'll find both frags. Stepping up. 4-0. They managed to, well, not only win themselves the round, but pick up an AWP, which is a great little bonus for them. And on the other side of things, compLexity can just invest into some pistols.
Yeah, I don't know what that round was from compLexity. I'd love to know what the game plan was there, right? They set up in apartments, they moved their players to underpass while not really setting up for an A play by any means. Then they give up apps, and that just allows Azza to completely counterflank Depp and get all the information. By the time he pushed apps, again, similarly to the pistol round with Liaz pushing apartments, we instantly had 4 players on that A site for compLexity. Oh, sorry, for Renegades. They were fully stacked. They were ready for that play. And yeah, information. Knowledge is power, they say, Tom. And Renegades are powering forward with a 4-0 lead. This is going to be a bit of a beating to the compLexity economy.
Yeah, I think as well for like a compLexity, I imagine there is like quite a bit of research going into things here. But out of all the teams, this is going to be one of the most difficult ones. Okay, sure, they've played them like previously, but obviously I spoke to the manager earlier today, Gomez, and he basically just said we're sort of just winging it. So it's kind of like you can't really like read too much into a lot of the plays. Now, obviously that could have just been a bit of a like throw off, but at the same time, I feel like it's true. They're so early on. Quick rush in towards the B side though. Liaz finds one, but it's a very quick trade back. Azza still going to be looking to hold this off from short, and the rotation has begun to come in. He's looking for another bomb plant, but at the same time, they have brought it back into a 3v3.
Oh, nice shot from Gratisfaction again. We need him with this AWP to step up this map, try to beat the birthday boy himself, and he even fires off into Android. We know who the robot is today. Gratisfaction, clinical procedures on this B bomb site. Ye's got to find the clutch, and he's so close to Jacob. He gets a free kill. Now it is the AWP of Renegades left up, the new addition. And Ye hunting for this final kill, not going for the bomb, but Gratisfaction hits a shot, and that's going to be what Renegades need to take a 5-0 lead. It may have been pistols for compLexity, and 4 kills is definitely going to be, impactful in terms of money, but Renegades still win the round, Tom. Here comes the buy for compLexity, and they don't even have that AWP, which is certainly not what you want to be happening, especially when you're up against Gratisfaction, who's hitting shots like that.
Yeah, it's a bit close for comfort, but at the same time, Renegades at least managed to rectify the problem. And a lot of the time, you see those pistol rounds come much closer, and then in the rifle rounds, obviously, it's a little bit more standard from compLexity. They're not just going to go barreling into a site like that. So there's a chance that even now, Renegades will just bring back this next round. But already, tag coming in, a couple of nades doing damage. Jacob's still around that connector, and it's actually going to be Gratisfaction again to find that opening pick. He has been good with the AWP. Jacob's going to go pushing, but it is left all onto Gratisfaction on the side. The Molotov going to spread, and the AWP not in the best position whatsoever. The bomb is going to be planted eventually, but he's still got to rotate out of the apps, and in that time, Jacob's managed to actually cross towards the site, going to try and do some extra utility damage. But the fact is, the CT side, they're down to just a couple of smokes. Jacob now going to rotate back in to meet up with the rest of his team as they're going to try and take this one from Market.
And Stan still focused on short because that's when Jacob last showed his face, but no one's coming from there. The smoke allows Liaz to push out without getting punished from the bench or the site. Now Shazam's going to try and make a play. He lines up 2, he finds 2, and that's the round for compLexity. Dear oh dear, nice afterplant considering they're a man down. And with Stan getting completely caught out there on short, I thought surely Renegades would have that one in the bag. I think that was a bit of a misplay from Gratisfaction as well. That molly, as far as I'm aware, didn't spread to even damage him on the balcony. He just threw it in the anticipation that it would. Now, again, it might have spread and damaged him, in which case that smoke was a good decision to make. But yeah, if it didn't, he may have given away his position and not gotten anything for it. So not too sure. It's a question we won't know. 5-1 up, and he's back on the AWP, back to fire. 7-2 right now for him. He started off this map well. Mirage is a bit of an AWP's paradise. Gratisfaction already looking for this pick.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually one of the players to have a fairly quiet game yesterday in their match versus Cyberzone. I don't think he really stepped up. He like really sort of struggled was fairly even on the board. It was actually Azza who was the one really far down, but I don't think he had the same impact. He was excellent in their Pro League matches, and he's already kicked it off again. He's found the kill onto Def. Looking for more, but Shazam just round the corner with the AK in hand will decapitate him, give them some middle control, and Azza does only have himself an SMG. The sort of one-round victory that's come in here for compLexity has left them in a bit of trouble.
Look at Stan. Look how deep Stan is on this B bomb site. I don't think Az is going to be ready for this, even though he's sneaking around. He's got his back turned, and Stan snakes behind, but he won't get the kill. That's a big whiff. Renegades, he may have given up the B bomb site, but Liaz is going to get caught in the apartments. That is so awkward. He could have shut down this entire round, but now Ye spamming him through the smoke. He's getting pressure from 2 angles. Shazam going for the wallbang. Won't connect, but Ye finally will. And that's the B site open for business. Android locks down the market. And right now, compLexity in a 3-on-2, even with this flank coming out from Jacob, this is not going to be an easy retake.
Yeah, they've got no utility other than the singular flashbang in Jacob's hands, and well, he doesn't really want to use it because it will give away his position. They don't have a kit either, so they've got to get moving pretty damn quick. Jacob does manage to find one. JKS actually gets another, and now it's left all onto Ye. He's in the 1 versus 2, knows where both players are, but that's a lot easier said than done. He gets the first and the second as well. Ye wins them the round. That's also the reset onto Renegades as well. Such impact, and now moving forward, compLexity should be able to build into this.
And this is exactly what I was hoping for, Tom. We're having a fun game. We're having an exciting game full of highlight plays. Nice work from Ye on that B bomb site. Again, compLexity very, very good at locking down these B post plants, whether that necessarily be clutches in awkward situations or nice comebacks from man disadvantages. They seem to be doing it 2 rounds in a row, and that 2 rounds in a row has now put Renegades to pistols. No AWP in for the Renegades today, but Shazam's got his from the previous round, taking that off the body of Gratisfaction. Going back to what looks like a play for compLexity, but Renegades, they're fully stacked up here, 5 players. This mid-split's going to be a bit of an issue because Def has an SMG and they've got no armor, so he's going to tear them apart.
Yeah, we've seen some very successful stacks so far in StarSeries. Already Def is going to be dinked up. Maybe a second player here. They're slowly just going to start picking them apart, and by the looks of things, well, a bit of a curse from me there, because they didn't even get a single kill. Great work for actually just cleaning things out from the T side, and well, keeping it clean for them is pretty important. They managed a couple of rounds, but they've been very, very close. So all 5 players survive for compLexity, and this is now where sort of the battle begins in this map of Mirage.
I like their jungle smoke as well when you're sending like 1 player into connector, because that does 2 things. One, a smoke on its own with nothing behind it gives the CTs the illusion that, okay, maybe this is a fake smoke and they're going B, especially when you're stacked up and you have no info. That's dangerous. But also, it allows Def to push up from the connector and not get shot at from the site. Either way, fast, B play for compLexity, somewhere they've been having a lot of success, but Gratisfaction and the AWP, that's a successful duo in and of itself, but he's already locked down 1. Liaz overwhelmed, and Gratisfaction won't hit the flick shot. He's getting pushed up close. Shazam hitting his, and down to 1 HP is Def, but that won't make a difference when he locks down the site onto Azza.
Yeah, impactful kill. It will be quickly traded out by JKS. They're looking for this retake once again. This time Ye has a friend, and that friend is Shazam, holding the AWP, waiting for the push to come back in. Now this time again, they don't have a kit. They've got a little bit more utility than last time, but the fact is they're not actually holding the angle, and that means that Ye's going to go down. Shazam now left into the clutch situation. We'll see if he can recreate something. The birthday boy trying to bring this one home as they tap the bomb, but JKS, well, there's no present for Shazam here. However, they don't have a kit. It's going to be pretty close. I think they've just about got it.
Oh!
It's close.
It's
close.
I
never doubted.
Yeah. Understatement of the year.
So if I was wrong, then I would have been like, wow, but because it was right. I was like
the ego's out, the flex.
Yeah, I knew exactly how much time was left in my
What a retake for Renegades. Again, down a man coming in. Actually, this time they win it.
But they should, realistically, they should have won the last one. They probably shouldn't have won this one. So
that sounds about right. Yeah, that's an awkward round for compLexity. A couple of missed shots of the AWP or even tags in through that that big missile box. That's annoying as well, because that's a position like that's one of the few walls on this map that you can't do good damage wall banging through. If you wall bang through the edge of a box, even the edge of the site, like the pillar, you're going to get on like 80 damage. But if you wall bang the edge of that missile, nothing near the sort. So no kill coming there, and Renegades in with the retake. Now, again, they've got the AWP, Tom. They picked that one up off of Shazam. So nice couple of free upgrades here from Renegades. And considering the Gratisfaction is top of the board alongside Azza, again, as you said, the two players who were struggling yesterday, that's certainly a good sign. 6-3 here. Everyone has money, but who will be the first to break?
Yeah, both teams actually on the brink here. Def's got a little bit of extra cash, so that's something at least. He's already taking a lot of control in the palace. It's looking like they might go for a bit of a burst play here. And in fact, it's going to be JKS to start things off. Almost gets the second as well. His teammates taking quite a bit of damage, but JKS looking to do it all on his own. However, the trades do come back in further into a 2v2. Seemed like Jacob was trying to bail out his teammates and ended up just in a bit of a panic. Molotov also perfectly placed to just slow down Liazna. Actually gives them a bit of time to try and take control of CT. This kill will probably decide how this round actually goes. Azza versus Stan, and he's just trying to bait things out. It's a long battle, that's for sure. And Liaz, well, he doesn't really have the range to help, but that Molotov is actually perfect. He forces him into the open. Excellent use of utility, and now Shazam is all that remains. Again, a 1v2, a second chance of redemption, and he misses the shot. He's just going to be overwhelmed. I actually said maybe Liaz won't be able to help too much, but that incendiary was excellent.
Huge incendiary, especially when Azza missed that nade. What it did is it hit the right side of a little bit of wood sticking out from that back CT box and went right of CT rather than left like it should have. That's very unfortunate, but good round from Renegades. Yeah, I like to see the teamwork here. Azza obviously making the call, or maybe, well, not again. You can't really tell that, but regardless,
we can try and mind read, but
you know, IGL, big brain, all of that. But yeah, nice retake from Renegades. Again, their retaking has been on form. They lost a couple on that B-bomb site, but by and large, they are leading this one. 7-3. Still not a huge worry for compLexity. They've got a few more buy rounds coming through, but this will be an eco for now, even with that bomb plant. They had the most of money in comparison. There were a couple of players with like 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah, I think Def had quite a bit of cash, which
Def has 7K, Android has 4, yeah, he has 4. Yeah, it's really awkward. You could drop over SMGs or like, I don't know. We'll see.
You're going to leave it up to them.
Yeah, it all depends on the game plan here, right? Because you can get a weak buy and go for a fast B play. And considering how good B has been for compLexity this map, I wouldn't be surprised if they forced her and just went for one of those burst plays again.
The other thing as well is because only 2 players survived, you get, like there's so much more temptation just to reset them. You've had a couple of bomb plants in a row, so yeah, they're going to go for the force buy. I don't really blame them here.
Force, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close to just being a full-on buy.
They've given up the AWP in order to drop over a 4th AK, and then Stan just gone for an SMG. This is a good buy. And look at Stan. He's up short. JKS cannot see him. That smoke is just a little bit over to the left, and he's actually going to get shot at from below as well. Android puts him down. Gratisfaction finding one on the B-bomb site, and Azza going to do the same as well with that M4. He's got to move on back.
That was actually Gratisfaction again.
Oh my god! Oh wow!
He was just so quick you didn't even tell. It's going to be Stan at least getting one back. Actually gets the second as well. He's just doing work with the UMP. He's already tagged unbelievably low, and he gets the third. Stan's just come out of nowhere. A bit of a slow start for him, but 3 kills. UMP don't need an AK.
Oh, that nade! That almost took his life away. And considering how Renegades have managed to pull themselves back from disadvantageous positions on this B-bomb site, that kill may have spurred them on to go for it. But without the nade connecting and Stan staying alive with the AWP, we will be seeing Renegades forfeit this round. So, yeah, nice bounce back from compLexity. The quote-unquote force, I guess, on Stan more than anyone.
Stan the man.
Out. Yeah. UMP, no problem.
Well, yeah, it was mentioned on the desk that yesterday he was the top fragger. He was one of the better players for compLexity, and he had a slow start in this one, but that is one hell of a round to come back in. Just had a UMP, was just running and gunning, saved Shazam when he was planting the bomb, and, well, pretty much won them the round single-handedly. So, yeah, massively impactful one. And this is the problem we now talk about, is that the reason they force, or one of the reasons they force in this round, is because how close the round before was, with only 2 players surviving. And now the money for Renegades is called into question. This is where things could be quite difficult. Now, they could go for something a bit risky here, like Liaz could drop something, or they could just try and do something with what they've got already, just a couple of rifles.
I'm in support of the force here. I mean, regardless, you're on a double eco, so why not? You know, you got a couple of guns, you got a good chance. You know that, yeah, okay, the alternative is you double eco, you have a far better buy, but then, you know, by that point, compLexity have won 3 rounds in a row, and then they've built up money. If you're Renegades here, maybe you can break it back. Maybe you can use those pistols. We've seen a lot of B aggression so far from the Renegades. They have that AWP, which is a big factor as well on Gratisfaction. If he can find some opening kills, certainly not an unwinnable round. As we saw there quickly, they did buy up. This is the replay from Stan.
He's already on 12 HP when he got the second 2 kills.
9 HP now.
And he touched the Molotov.
Oh my, he's just swerving in and out of the smoke. That's just annoying. Well done from Stan. compLexity on this T side again. And here's the buy from Renegades. It's not that bad. And Jacob's even made it work. That's a 1-for-1. That's good enough.
I love it. A little bit of Mag 7 play coming in. Not in normally the position you'd expect it to see, just running down into that underpass. He manages to get the trade. It leaves a weapon down there. Now, Azza still is only on a pistol, but that trade, as you said, it's really not that bad because now it's sort of like if they can get it down to a 3v3 in rifles, I think they'll be pretty happy with that situation. Normally, you'd still give that over to the T side, but still an opportunity here. Already, we're going to see the T's now just looking to try and take over that middle control, and some aggression coming out on the ramp as well. You can see Azza pushing all the way through with the pistol. He doesn't have a whole lot to lose. And because of that, they're now gambling far more heavily over towards this B side. They've got Gratisfaction already here with the AWP. One man on site, one man very close, and sort of just watching towards the vent in case they do take some mid control. And it looks like Renegades have actually got a pretty damn good setup ready for this B push.
Oh, the boost up though. Gratisfaction, he's going to stay alive somehow. Liars protects him as well. Shazam's still up on this boost, so Gratisfaction should get shot in the back, but how is he still alive? Shazam's missing shots. Too much cake for the birthday boy. In Gratisfaction, he's going to finish him off with a pistol. Oh no, Shazam. I'd love to see a replay of that. He must have missed.
I don't.
Yeah, actually, scrap that. Don't show me that. 3 or 4 shots to a player that didn't even know he was there.
That. I don't want to do that.
No, that's mean.
Yeah, let's bully the guy. His birthday is, but no.
That's unfortunate.
The thing is, though, Gratisfaction was missing shots as well. It was just he had the teammates to help him out and back him up. And as said, the read there from Renegades was absolutely spot on. The push from Azza gave them all the information they needed. They had a man just in case they tried to go through middle and would be able to hold off any flank. And then they just had the 2 people dedicated to the B side. It was just excellent positions being held by the CT side. And, well, compLexity fell for the trap. And again, this has just been the sort of backwards and forwards nature of this game so far, that no team has managed to break out of it just yet since the early rounds. And because of that, they just keep getting wrecked by economy. But it's getting worse, actually, for compLexity. They're the ones, because that's the thing, Renegades were able to save weapons, whereas compLexity lost everyone.
Oh no. Oh, I like it. Bit of KZ coming in. Up through short, Gratisfaction sits, and compLexity, if they go to mid, they could be in a spot of bother. That smoke has a huge gap. Again, compLexity, I'm surprised they don't abuse the fact that if they throw that smoke, you can get to the cross before Gratisfaction gets there, unless he makes the jump. They didn't know he made the jump.
With the UMP.
Yeah, I know, he's dirty, isn't he?
He just dinked him down to 17 HP. Gratisfaction, a little bit lucky to be alive. Still, Jacob's the ones who actually find the opening pick. Stan with the ump. Maybe they never actually nerfed it, and Stan's the only one who knows.
Yeah, they just added the MP5 and buffed it again, right? And everyone's like, oh, MP5, let's just use that. It's cheap. Well, I like this position as well. Stan's in a good spot. He can just sit here, he can bail out any aggression from Renegades. He can also jump into the window later on. I mean, he could do it now. He could even creep into B, for example. Renegades are leaving a huge gap in their defense, but they have to. They're down a man. They're in a 4v4. You can't watch everywhere at once. Def's going to crawl into this B bomb site, and Liaz on the other side playing up close. Def doesn't have a Molotov or anything for this. No utility. So be very careful. Liaz spotted. He's going to run on back. Just get T-info, and that's safe. With 25 seconds left, Renegades, they don't want to give away a pick right now. This is not the opportune time. compLexity are only crawling into A, and Azza has a great position up on that A bomb site. JKS as well, coming in through the spawn from a crossfire. There's only 10 seconds left, Tom. They need to get this bomb down right now, and Azza's going to drop it in the plant. He's found 2. JKS has found another, and Def's all the way on the other side of the map. This round is done.
Yeah, it's over, and all he can really hope to do is try and hold on to that AK-47. Great work from Azza there. Just, again, it's the same push that he made in the previous round, but obviously all it gained last round was the information, whereas this time he can just do it again, and now he has that flank. And obviously, if you don't have control of CT, you have to plant for short, so he's perfectly placed.
And much as how in a 4v4 the CTs have to give up map control and maybe lose window, for example, so do the Ts. They can't default every position, and while they have apps and they have connector in middle, they don't have ramp, so Azers can just get aggressive. That's a positive of not being in a 5v5 for both teams, and it works out well for Renegades, who now sit in a 9-4 lead. Pistols out for compLexity. They are continuing these force buys. And I'm not sure how much effect this one's going to have, especially when they go towards middle. The smokes are down in every avenue. Gratisfaction, he's peeking. Not for long.
Up and short. Now, short has been definitely one of the points of contention so far in this map. Obviously, with the CZs in hand, if you can get to this point, it's actually fairly successful in terms of being able to find those close range battles. By the looks of it, though, they may actually just try and get in towards the window now. Not spotting anything just yet. Shazam will make his way across. Now, this time, again, they're going aggressive, and this time they're caught. It's Stan again. He really has turned things around. He was bottom of the board earlier in the game, and he has managed to swing it right back to him being right at the top for compLexity. They still need a little bit more, though, because there's plenty of weaponry and plenty... Well, actually, I was going to say of utility, but there really isn't for the Renegade side. But again, this clock starts to tick. 40 seconds left. They still have the Palace control, even though Jacob went down. It won't matter, though, as B looks like the point of battle.
Oh, they're going to double peek. Oh, Azza, he's going to get overwhelmed, surely. Nice work from compLexity. They completely clear out short. Now it is just Leas at the back of the site. He has got too much to do and only half health. Shazam's dropped another, and yay, this CZ is just overwhelming the Renegades. JKS is all that stands. And what a round for compLexity. They go into that with 4 pistols and an AK. The AK doesn't get a kill, but now they have 3 M4s, Tom. That is just unaccounted for. They've even spotted the final player as well, so Shazam's picked up the AWP and he's got the angle. What a round. I have no idea how compLexity do that completely flawlessly.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much as good as it gets. That you go into a round with not much, and you come out with a rifle gained on every single player. And, yeah, well, Renegades are now going to take a tactical pause. I don't really blame them after that one. Absolutely everything went wrong at the same time. So I think the thing is they got confident because of how Azza was able to consistently push towards the ramp, and so Jacob tried something a little bit, and I think he went, well, it's sort of one of those things. Is like he was very unlucky just with the position of his T opponent. If he hadn't been there and was able to push, there would have been so much information. But the fact is they were in a situation where they really didn't need to do it. The money was not good for their opponents. It should have been something they could have worked out over the last few rounds, how close they've actually been. And because of that, well, they ended up handing some rifles away, and you see what Stan did with it. He found a second opening.
Yeah, that's apparently all he does this game, just find opening kills, pull back man advantages. Top of the board here for compLexity alongside Shazam, who's not been even going off that much of the AWP. We've not seen it in his hands as much as we'd like. Maybe in the early game, but not so much in the late. CZ's now for Renegades. That's a good flashbang. Dropped in from Gratisfaction towards Underpass, and it allows Azza to peek out wide and get that frag. So Renegades, they've got some tricks up their sleeves as well. And maybe the CZ round that was won by compLexity can be replicated by the Aussies. Ooh, careful.
I think it was mentioned on the desk as well how crucial the sort of opening picks in this have been. I definitely agree. I think these sort of opening kills have been so crucial to this match. This one, though, it's sort of like a catch-22 because there's... okay, the CT side did get the opening pick, but at the same time, they really don't have that much to play with, and one rifle they had is now gone. It's just Stan again.
What?
Stan is just turning all of these rounds. Shazam, he's just using the CZ. JKS is trying, and he found 2 back, and the bomb. That's a crucial couple of kills. He's given his team a chance into this one. No. Ye manages to retrieve it, though, and that can actually allow the fallback to the side. They know that they don't have the position covered. They've got jungle covered. The problem is there's so many spots for them to check. They don't know where the other man is. Okay, they do now. Stan does.
God.
And that's actually the B side completely open. They can just go straight towards B. There's no way that JKS could know that they've gone this way other than maybe his teammate working it out along the way. Obviously, bomb sounds being a bit different. If he does hear it, he's going to know exactly where it is. One little bit of useful information that's been added. I suppose that's very helpful on Nuke as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. JKS looking for that retake. He's going to go pushing back in. Doesn't have a kit, has a couple of flashbangs. Has been pretty good in these sort of situations before. managing to get a couple of kills on the retake himself. Now, the problem is his opponent's on the other side, but he's found the first kill. He doesn't have a kit, though. Just remember that. So the bomb ticking very fast now, and I think Ye will have just played this absolutely perfectly. He should roughly know where he is at this point, but the Molotov thrown onto the bomb, and Ye doesn't even really need to take the fight in the end, but just decides, hey, an extra kill to my tally. Why not?
Yeah, free round there for Ye. A nice one from compLexity. More importantly, Stan. I don't know how he got that kill to Azza when he got boosted up on top of the Cinderbox. We were watching Ramp at the time, but maybe Azza's gun model blocked it. I don't know. He knew Stan was in there, so that's a very confusing battle. But yeah, fantastic work from the in-game leader of compLexity. It's rare that you see him having this many opening kills. I'd love the desk to actually have the stats on like what his. Actually, we can probably get them right now. On, like,
I think
what
he
his
was
kills are.
he was 2 and 7 at one point in this game, and he's now what 14 and 12. So he's definitely come back. So
right now it says Stan's opening duels are 1 and 1, but Def's are 1 and 9. So Def is just getting traded by Stan. They're just running out into middle and getting every single trade. So that's quite interesting. Gratisfaction on the side of Renegades, he's at 6 and 0 on opening duels. Now that's with the AWP.
Yeah,
he's been locking down middle
when
and B.
he's had the AWP, he's been excellent, like absolutely excellent. It's just that there's been sort of like scrappy 4-spy rounds, although they've been trying to get the AWP to him a lot. It normally leaves somebody else in a little bit of a weaker situation. Either way, a 9-6 half for Renegades, I'm sure they're going to be pretty happy walking away with that one.
Here's a kill. Oh, so he just pre-aims it. Just normal spot to check. Don't worry about it.
Like, he's just playing out of his mind at the moment. Like JKS, there was a little bit of hope here, but it was just the fact that the Molotov didn't quite spread far enough. He had a very good round in the end, but it wasn't quite enough. And a 9-6 half fairly standard, yay. Well, we're right back into the action. He's pushed up the top of mid with the rest of his team. It's going to be that underpass push, but they're a little bit late to try and trade back any of these kills, so that one will stick at least for compLexity.
Yeah, about as proactive as Renegades were on their CT pistol. If you remember some of the aggression they threw in. Shazam. Got to be careful here as he tries to lock down the connector, but they get the timing. Jacob gets a kill into Ye, and Shazam walks back right as Renegades push up. Now this bomb's going into B. They're going to try and split into Market and CT spawn. This is very hard to pull off, and they've worked out the hard way. Jacob's been killed. And Liaz, he's just got to try and put up a bit of a distraction as that has forced compLexity to move off of this B. Bomb site, Shazam finding a kill on B, and Stan dropping Liaz in that split, as is all that remains. And now at this point he realizes it's bomb plant or bust.
Yeah, Stan just going to put him down. He's continuing his reign of terror with another 3 kills in this pistol round. It will make it 9-7. Now, normally we talk about the sort of idea of now that should be them getting it to 9-9, but obviously the bomb plant means that once they get this next round, there should be a purchase of AKs coming up against them. So will be a little bit more difficult. They're still going to go for some, actually quite a few SMGs here. We got the new MP5 in, but the trusty MP9 will remain. I'm still an advocate for the MP9.
El Clasico, Tom. You can't beat
Shredder.
it. Yes. I love the fire rate. It's very good against armless players. I mean, even against armless players, you can get a quick couple of double dinks. But yeah, no chance in Renegades winning this round. They're on full pistols. And by that, I don't even mean good pistols. I mean Glocks and a P250 on Jacob. We got a flashbang on Azza. And there we go. That's about the only positive to Renegades side. On the positive on compLexity, there's the man on your screen right now, Stan, who again, 18 and 12, kicking off this round with first blood. And yeah, just while we got this time, I'd love to go back to that stat of opening kills, right? Because some people may look at that and go, Def is 1 to 9 in opening duels. That, you know, that's the indication of a bad player. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means he's been being put in first and then traded. His entire role is just to go for the entries, get the information. If he doesn't get the kill, then hell, someone's going to trade. And in this case, it has been Stan almost every single time. So yeah, it's nice to see Def filling his role in that sense. Maybe not top of the board, but in terms of actually getting info and getting impactful plays, yeah, it's working out well. compLexity, 8 to 9. They're trying to pull themselves back into this game, and they're doing a good job right now. And if anything, they're favored, which is interestingly enough.
Yeah, I think that's somewhat fair in a way, because now they go into that sort of CT side half. We have to see, this is where Azza is truly tested. Like, you have like a brand new in-game leader in play on a T side of a map. That's where all the tests really comes in. Now, Mirage is one of the more basic ones, so there's still going to be more to do after this, but we'll see if he can actually help Renegades drag this one. Of course, it's a 0-1 match. If you lose this one, you're one map away from elimination. SaZam, well, he's going to be pushing up the top of mid. He has a little bit of support, but more so playing anti-flash. Both players going to go down. Maybe he doesn't need to make a call. It's just let's take those fights in middle. And compLexity lose every single one of them. Android and Def left with those trusty MP9s. And, well, you show JKS the feet, and he will take them off, as it is going to be just Def remaining. Hoping to trade a couple of kills out, maybe make a little bit of extra cash because money's not in the best state. They haven't had that chance to build up money like you normally do from winning the pistol without a bomb plant.
Ooh, the timing. Knife out, bullet to the face. Jacob's going to finish that one off with 2 kills. Azza, similar story as well. Double frag for him in that round. And in fact, JKS and Azza, those are the guys top of the board right now alongside Gratisfaction. I could go on forever because Renegades' kill distribution is ridiculously tight. Between the top 4 players, it's only 3 kills.
What is going on?
What?
Is Def going to be the catalyst orb? This is what it is. Like, he's had enough of people like saying that Smooya's the best guy in the UK, so he's just going to set himself up and around, bang them all out with the AWP.
Is that a misbuy? Is that a real, like,
I don't know.
At 10 to 8?
He's catalyst AWPer. Look, UK AWPers. Best AWP.
It just seems weird. Like, you haven't bought anything around it, but okay.
This is where he proves that he's the best UK player.
If he can save this, that's fine, but, like, if you're going to do this, you have to make plays. You have to get opening kills. And yeah, okay, he's pushing into B, but right now, I don't know how valuable this AWP is going to be in the long run, right? If he loses this, he's going to be wrecked next round in terms of money.
The other thing as well is, I think it might have been a misbuy, because otherwise, why would he not just give it to SaZam? Like, he doesn't have armor.
Well, regardless, misbuy or proper buy, just weird.
Yeah, just give it to SaZam.
Maybe it's just so he can do this, so he can allow for his team to stack up on A, and instead he pushes into the B apartments, gets info. He's done that. He's backed off. They know it's A by this point because Renegade's making that blindingly obvious with all the utility flying through. This triple stack could find something, and hey, if Def can support for the CT spawn, maybe, but he's going to be too late to the party, and JKS has blown out the birthday candles. It's Def here on the spawn trying to make this one work, and he is going to need a clutch play if he wants to win this round. It's not happening, Tom, and there's the question mark on that one. Him and Ye can't afford.
I was with it up until the point where he didn't run away.
Yeah.
After getting the 1 kill, it's like, all right, peace out, guys. That's where he should be gone. Like, you're not winning a 1v3 with an AWP CT when they have the site and you have no utility and no armor. Like, it's 1 in a million. So I think that was a bit crazy. And yeah, now, wow, this buy is interesting. He's actually ended up with a
here we go. This is the justification. Def bought that because now he's dropped over a UMP to Stan, who he bloody loves the UMP, he does. I mean, did you watch that T side? We've now got an auto shot.
They just wanted an excuse to give Stan a UMP.
Ye's run solo A. He's gone close up. SaZam, he's playing that AWP in the B apartments, and he's doing plays. This might have actually been purpose. This might have been the game plan all along for compLexity. And hey, okay, maybe the AWP wasn't too successful in the previous round, but this could be the justification because they've already found that man advantage. Gratisfaction's down to 45. And how do Renegades react to this?
Yeah, they're actually in a bit of a dicey situation. Oh,
there's the kill. Oh,
that was swish. Perfectly timed as well. We didn't miss anything. Wonderful. Good job, production. We'll have T still with control of middle, but it seems like a lot of the time compLexity are fairly happy to let them have it, especially when they've already got a man advantage. They'll hold some angles just to make sure they can't take over the window, which they did. And this position is hugely valuable. The thing is, though, if you look at both the positions from the CT side, he may be able to catch out one. It's whether or not we actually see a turnaround from Android. Android is going to be the only one who can really stop anything here. Otherwise, this round is just going to be over. And you can see the remaining players just waiting patiently. There is Android dead. There is Ye dead. And that flank has been absolutely perfect. And I can tell you now, there's going to be a lot of confused players over on the compLexity side at the moment. However, I thought SaZam was going to hit that. Def saves his teammate. Maybe they should give the AWP back to Def again. He did manage to get himself the kill. Gratisfaction waiting for the aggression here. SaZam is going to jump into the angle and will lose his life as well. Def's going to not be able to do absolutely anything. And now Stan, the man, does he have a plan? He's got that UMP ready and waiting. It definitely isn't the best at the ranged battles, although when he uses it, it seems pretty powerful. However, the clock now ticking just rips off the head of Gratisfaction.
What?
If he wins this battle, I might just leave the room. Okay, thankfully JKS is going to restore some normality to this one.
Oh my god. Did that orb get blown over to him? I'd love to see. We'll find out next round. That's
After the break.
that's ridiculous. That shot with the UMP. A nice round as well from Azza, especially, right? Getting that big flank in, going into the A bomb site. I was a little worried that maybe it was Ye with the shotgun up close on ramp could have completely cut down those AWPers up riflers up on ramp, but unable to do so. Scoreboard there. It's looking pretty equal across both teams here. Let's see what the money situation is in terms of the AWP. It wasn't saved after all, but Stan got away with an AK, so that's not too bad. But not quite a UMP, Tom.
No. He dropped his weapon choice. It would be too obvious otherwise.
Yeah.
That's why they actually did that force fight, because they didn't want him to fire one. Either way, into the stack they go. Stan. Seems to be whatever weapon he has, he manages to do damage. Molotov's taking a few ticks off of Liaz, but not anything too crazy. CT side to try and reposition him. We'll see Stan rotating towards CT. Liaz has been flashed through and just going to be playing the close angle. Now, they've got a bit of a crossfire here. Gratisfaction going to be caught with a nade, but he still manages to win that battle. Def coming in on the flank, and Ye there with the Deagles. They're going to try and do some damage here, at least make it a bit costly. Nice shot from Def. Will remove the head of JKS. Gratisfaction going to go pushing, and he's met with a man with a USP, and Shazam gets a second. It's now somehow left all onto Azza, looking to try and just clean things up for his team. The in-game leader looking to do it all. Shazam will be back in. He had nothing really to play with, and it will just about work out, but damn, Shazam.
Ain't too bad. Problem is, Tom, the score. 13 to 8. We're hyping up all these interesting things from compLexity, but Renegades are just playing some solid CS right now. That's a fourth in a row on the T side since their first buy round.
They're grinding through it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like all of these plays are being made and all this damage is being done, but ultimately they're still grinding through the rounds and these sort of weird buys that we've seen from compLexity, the mistakes. I think that has to be a mistake, right? And all jokes aside. But yeah, it's sort of like, it looks like they're slowly grinding through all of these rounds. The problem is, it's still a situation that even though we see them like losing a lot of players, they still have a reasonable amount of money. Here it is from Shazam. This second one was just wonderful to just double dink him. But yeah, now we finally get to see the buy. Def actually is buying up a secondary orb.
Okay,
so
I'm convinced at this point. I'm convinced that buy a few rounds ago was purpose.
it's still weird though.
Yeah, still weird, definitely.
But more the fact that he didn't save it. That's what's weird. The rest of it I don't really have a problem with.
Well, double up here for compLexity. Gratisfaction, of course, has his, as Renegades have a sizable lead, but that's not impossible to come back from. Again, the money okay for Renegades, not fully built up. Azza has a bit. JKS is all right, but everyone else is going to be on the edge of things. So compLexity need to remain aware. If they can keep a few players alive and win this round, this game is not over. But again, Tom, they smoke window. It forces compLexity out, and Azza, he's just going on an absolute creep through the CT spawn. Almost meets Def there. I don't know if Def realizes, but look in the market. Oh, I'd love to know what's going on. Def actually, he must be aware, and yeah, he's ready for that one. Going to hit the shot with the AWP.
Fool me once.
Phew.
Yeah, thank God. They did. It was starting to look like compLexity had a real big hole in their defense, but thankfully, Def shall not be. To be fair, I think it was actually he passed Def last time, so he's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not falling for this again. And we've got up close Stan the man, and Def the Defiant will be waiting with the AWP. He actually gets tagged up quite low. Now, Gratisfaction is holding the angle. Stan's only going to be able to get one, so the site will fall into the favor of this T side. The bomb should be planted. Nice shot from Def as well. It really is pulling out the stocks with this AWP at the moment. The Gratisfaction, the new boys on the block, have got to try and clutch this.
Oh, and Gratisfaction's already 3 HP. Shazam's just going to deck him. And Liaz, he's got so much to do in a 1v4. He's found the first. Ooh. Oh, nice flick, but Ye's ready for it. The master of the B-bomb site is back here, and compLexity have found the retake. 2 guns kept, and both of them AWPs. This game is not run its course just yet. 9 rounds to the North Americans.
And the bomb plant will make things a little bit better for Renegades. They're still starting to hit the wall when it comes to finances. As you can see, Gratisfaction and Jacob just enough to buy AKs, although Azza with 8,000 in the bank will probably help quite a bit. And they'll be able to juggle some weapons around. I wonder if he will buy an AWP or if it is going to end up into the hands of Gratisfaction. In fact, no, he'll be on a Galil. So definitely not the best purchase we've seen from them, but definitely nowhere near the worst. And we're getting pretty close to crunch time here. Obviously, if this round is won by Renegades, I think this is theirs.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a crucial round in the match. The thing is, though, they've got to break this double orb setup.
Well, if they do, they break the money, Tom, as you say. And not only gain 14 rounds, but put compLexity to $1,400. That is never a fun position to be in, so let's see if Renegades can win with this default A play. There's nothing too special here, but there are 3 CTs on the defensive. Molotov goes out in the Palace from Ye. That's going to delay it. He's got his eyes on Connector. And Shazam, he's got his eyes on this A-bomb site because Liaz has pushed out and killed his teammate Ye, diving through the smoke, but they are spamming right through it, and JKS gets the kill. Shazam now has to do it all, back in the CT spawn, and he's found at least a kill, but again, in a 3-on-3 with them already about to flash into CT spawn, potentially. Yeah, there it is. There's a nade. That will do it. Shazam's going to get dunked down, and Azza can peek off the back of it. We've got Renegades all over this A-bomb site, and Def and Stan are all that's left up.
Yeah, 2 players who have been decent, although Gratisfaction, well, maybe he should just be picking up this rifle. That was a nice little shot there. Took one out with a nade as well, and Stan, he's been good in difficult situations, but I think this one is impossible. Doesn't have a kit. Money is atrocious for compLexity at this point. And I feel like a lot of it, even though the Shazam is quite high up the board, there's been a lot of missed shots from him this game. Like, he had a lot of opportunities there to take down a player, and one of the most crucial ones was actually Liaz. Liaz in Palace ran straight through a Molotov just to kill the guy in Dark, and that pretty much completely opened up the site.
Especially Ye getting spammed in through smoke as well. That certainly made things worse. Side note as well, something Chad alluded to on the desk is JKS and Azza being the potential world-class players. Sorry, they're currently.
He didn't say potential though.
No, but people don't believe it because they haven't seen it. You know what I'm getting at, Tom. 21 kills for JKS, 20 kills for Azza. They're looking damn good. Gratisfaction, 18 frags on him. I mean, Jacob is on 14. Not that that's a problem. Renegades are winning by a considerable margin, but this was typically the Jacob show, and now it's anything but.
Yeah, imagine how much they'd be winning by if he was.
Yeah.
That's the scarier prospect here for compLexity, although I don't think it's mattering that much here. Gratisfaction's already going to find the opening pick with that AWP. That's definitely a stat that should be mentioned, is the fact that he has found so many opening kills. He was already on 6 in the previous. He's on at least 7 now, I know that for sure, because he just found one there. Jacob looking to sneak through the smoke. Has to be careful here. Multiple players around him. Yay, they're almost touching tips. And actually, Jacob will be able to find the opening. And gets the second through the smoke. Why not? Stan, the last one left. Well, he said what would happen if Jacob steps up. He won't be able to find the final kill of the round. But again, it's Stan in an impossible situation. No kit, bomb down, a long rotation with CT spot already taken. And JKS will be there to put him down. 15-9 Renegades. Well, I say that it normally takes them the first game at least to sort of wake up. They definitely look like they've had here, but the fact is compLexity, they're looking like they're going into that 0-2.
Wasn't the stat that you threw in yesterday when we casted Renegades? Renegades, the last 2 StarSeries, have started off the event 0-2, and I mean the last one 0-3. So just going straight out.
That wasn't so much starting it. That was
ending it and starting it. Yeah, right. But now at least looking like if they can find this one round, they're going to be back up to a 1-1. compLexity, on the other hand, running off of their sick major performance, they are not looking as hot right now. Things need to change. I don't mean rosters by that. Jacob. He's back in middle, Tom. He's doing it again. They're going to flash into middle as well. They go for it. Luckily enough, even though he goes down, he's the only one in the open, so no more pistols will find the effect, but Ye does hit his shot. Gratisfaction's being pressured by 4 players. Anything he can get here is a miracle, and there's only one. compLexity now with a man advantage and scavenge weapons to make it even better.
JKS, though, has managed to take control of the A site. He's used the chaos to gain ground, and, well, more importantly, the bomb should be able to rotate in. Now, he's a little bit wary of players from B. It's actually middle where the point of contention could be, and that may be a problem. He needs to go back around and sort of help out his teammate a little bit here. Liaz is trying to cross to the side. The Molotov, though, should be enough, and that will be the bomb planted for CT, and with that completely in their control, JKS is now set up wonderfully. Now Shazam and of course Android have everything to do here. This is crunch time.
More bangable spot here. Maybe Shazam will check it. He will, but it doesn't matter. Liaz gets one. It's a trade, but JKS is already there behind them. That's going to be Renegades picking up their first win here in Kiev, Ukraine, taking down compLexity. Top 8 in the major will only lead them so far, as now we're going to see the Aussies find some success here.
Yeah, and they will get themselves that 1-1 more importantly. I think the 0-2 is somewhat a scary prospect here, especially bear in mind that we've still got teams like Hellraisers and Tyloo to play. We've got the guys, the Vega, facing off against Sprout. Like, there's sort of matches that you don't really want to be in. And even bear in mind, the Big are down there right now. So there's not really any sort of easier matches. CyberZen are already in the sort of 1-0, so they can't be down there. They can't be going for the sort of elimination. So the chances are we're going to be losing a team that, well, we wouldn't be expecting to this early on in the tournament.
Well, that's the thing. Best ones, again, is this something we kind of knew would happen coming into the tournament? Again, we have no top 5 teams here, so that's definitely going to mean there's no more, obvious wins in the sense of big stomps like Astralis just coming down and ruining teams.
Well, there was a
today.
big stomp.
Yeah, nice. That was early. That was a bit of a flashback, Tom. But with all these underdog teams, all these new rosters, post-major shuffles, and then add in the factor of best of 1 Swiss, that's what makes this event so exciting. That's what makes it so interesting to watch, because any team can win any game, and we're already seeing that today.
Yeah, no, it is obviously Renegades recreating their sort of online performance, but actually doing it slightly better. Either way, we're going to hear from them now. Over to Frankie.
I'm here with a jet-lagged JKS, but regardless of jet lag, you did just pick up your first win at StarSeries after that defeat to CyberZen yesterday. What was on the team's mind going into this matchup?
I think we're pretty composed and calm. Even though we lost yesterday to CyberZen, I think we should have beat them, but I think just because we're a new team, we kind of don't have that much pressure. So, yeah, I mean, we had a good game plan going in, and I think we were just all composed and calm.
You definitely dominated on that first CT side. What do you think the changes to your roster has made in terms of a difference?
I think everyone's a lot more hungry to win. There's a lot more motivation because we have 2 young guys now on the team. I think they really want to prove themselves, I think. They're always practicing every single day. They're putting in a lot of time. So I think that's just kind of given us all a new kind of outlook on the game and just made us all really fresh.
I like that. We've got 2 young guys on the team. From the looks of it, you're all young guys, JKS. I know that you've been part of Renegades for a few years now. You did actually let compLexity gain on you a little bit in the second half. Are there anything you're going to be looking to fix in the next match tomorrow?
I think our CT side, we lost a couple of rounds where I think people just pushed kind of for no reason or kind of pushed and didn't get traded, which kind of leaves us in a disadvantage. So I think we're just going to look over our CT side. I think our T side's pretty good right now with Azar calling. I think everyone's believing in him, and I think we have a good game plan and everyone's on the same page. So, yeah.
And you haven't necessarily got the greatest of track records at international lands, but you're a new roster. You set your stall out today. Do you think we're going to see you in that top 8?
I hope so. We made top 8 at the first one. The second one we were just shy of it, but our expectations is to make top 8 at this event, but we're not putting too much pressure on ourselves, but I hope we do.
Well, go and celebrate that win, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, JKS. Thank you for talking to me. Now, you guys, we want you to get chatting in Twitch chat because it's time to have your say about the next matchup. It's Plants versus Sharks. Is it going to be Team Sprout or Vega Squadron who wins the next losers matchup? We will be sure to find out. But before then, we need to break down what the hell happened in this last match, don't we?
Indeed we do, Frankie. It's a very complex situation in which the Renegades have triumphed. Triumphantly.
They won.
Triumphantly. Yeah, they won. There we go. Boom. The Renegades have done it. They have toppled the likes of compLexity, in which you guys did kind of bet against them there in the beginning. You put your guesses against them there.
Yeah, we don't gamble. Gamble responsibly and make sure that you are legal age to gamble in your country, and only gamble what you are willing to lose. But we didn't gamble. We just predicted, and we predicted off the basis that compLexity have been a team for a longer period of time. They did have the fantastic run at the major, and we thought that, well, at least I did, that they would have a deeper and more well-prepared map pool. But here I think they messed up. They should never have banned Inferno. They would have got Inferno for free, and Renegades already struggled against CyberZen on that map. So I think Renegades got away with a bit of a they basically had a 5-figure discount on this one. They had to rub a free game.
Steal, some call it.
Exactly, yeah. But in this situation, I think it's positive signs that Azza and JKS were both performing well within the confines of this game. It's cool that Aaron can still be an influential force while in-game leading. When I was in-game leading, I like to put myself in a lot of good positions to get kills, but I just couldn't get the kills.
Really work out,
so if it works for him, then that's a positive sign. Well, I'm self-deprecating humor. You gotta let me.
We'll help you.
You gotta let me bully myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll help you definitely.
One of the stat lines I was interested in was Grat on the AWP. He had 7 opening duels he had 8 opening duels, 7 of which he was successful in. A lot of them coming in the first half. I think it was 3 or 4 of them were with the AWP, which means he's being very mobile finding picks, and that's a positive sign for an AWP on the CT side.
I think it was a super positive sign for the entire Renegades lineup, for that matter. I think, as you said, all the players showed up, all the players have impact. Whereas for compLexity, I think you're dead on right when you're saying that the veto process was absolutely horrible for them. I think the fact that they left in Dust 2 yesterday against Gambit, or picked to play Dust 2 yesterday against Gambit, was a little bit questionable. And removing Inferno today, playing Mirage against Renegades, again, very questionable. So I think compLexity right now in the face of, they don't really know how good they actually were at the major, in a sense where they may be heading into some sort of like identity crisis where they have to redefine the map pool and redefine the way they want to play the game. Because right now, it's not looking good for them, neither online nor on this lane so far.
Well, it's also one of those situations where they come away from the major and they were probably figured out a little bit. Getting later and later and later into the major, the deeper you go into that run, yes, people are going to start picking up on the things that are working for you, either making it work for themselves or just simply countering what you're doing right.
But that's where you got to be good enough to innovate yourself. That's where you got to be good enough to make sure that you're not that one-hit wonder who can do that at one certain tournament and actually go on doing that at the next one. So if they're not able to progress from having a performance like that and progress tactically wise, they're just not good enough.
In the major, they were an underdog. Here, going up against a lot of opponents, they'd be considered a favorite based off that performance. Now, look, it hasn't actually been that long. They probably took a bit of downtime since the majors happened, but the thing is, it's such a stark contrast between a best-of-3 and a best-of-1, and they were already found out at the major when they got into that best-of-3 stage. Sure, it was versus a very high-caliber opponent, but they were blown out of the water, and you could see that they only really, once again, showed success in Inferno. That's why I'm really curious that they didn't let it get to Inferno. I think positive signs have to be that, you know, we do have stand fragging, we do have Shazam on the board there. But the thing is, it's another day, it's another loss, and they have to come back tomorrow and give this their best if they want to stay in the tournament, because nobody wants to be exiting early.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess on the back of the 5 rounds that the Renegades did get in the beginning, it definitely helped them to I guess, propel forward. Their CT side started with that strong little bit of footing, and sometimes that's just about all it takes, right, Chad?
Yeah, well, look, I think on the CT side, it's much more important to get that pistol round going, right? If you're the Ts and within the first 2 rounds you get a plant, you can buy on the 3rd. With the CTs, if you have to get a force buy in there early, you head into that first gun round, low utility, it always sucks, Jacob.
Yeah, it always sucks. I mean, it is it is
well, that's the only way to put it, right?
Yeah,
it
I mean,
sucks.
it's so eloquently said.
Yeah, it is. Gratifection with 7 entry frags, right? He only died once in an opening duel. He went 6 for 1. That's pretty impressive for him.
It's interesting. You say opening frags, and we're talking 18 on the side of Renegades.
Yeah, that's too many, right?
That's quite a few opening frags. Out of the contrast is 7 over on compLexity.
I think like you also have to consider this is a honeymoon period for Renegades as well. These people have never played against Gratifection or Liaz, so for them to get away with a lot of the plays which work for them at home, that's only going to work for this tournament.
But it's a two-way street, because often, like you say that, right, so either they're going to show class and actually be able to do that online, or they're going to fall through and not being able to do the stuff they do online at home. So it's actually a good sign for them that they're able to do that already now.
Grat needs to get that caterpillar off his goddamn lip right now.
I think it's cool, Chad.
Now, you wouldn't say that to his face. And not only that, he's jacked. He wears the freshest clothes, he hangs out with the coolest dudes, and eats at the chillest restaurants. What do you do, Chad?
I don't know. I wear like a checkered... I change shirt because we were matching. That's what I do.
And that is the smart play. Either way, any final words you guys have before we close the book here on the compLexity Renegades Swiss Round 2 matchup?
I'm always going to predict against Renegades now for the rest of time, because every time that I predict them to win, I know, but now it's 100%, Jacob.
Yeah, okay.
That's 100%.
Sure.
I'm going to predict against Renegades no matter what, and they're going to win every game where I predict against them.
I'm going to predict against compLexity because I think they are really not playing beautiful Counter-Strike right now. And I think what we saw in the major, they are not going to be able to replicate that.
Okay.
Well, that just about wraps that up. Let's go ahead and hit it. Hit it, Jacob.
You're missing this. We're on the swivelly chairs and we're running.
On purpose.
All right. Thank you for giving us that gratisfaction to close out that matchup. Of course, we do have one more coming your way. It's going to be the Sharks versus the Plants in Sprout and Vega Squadron. I don't know where I was going with that one, but yes, you get the sentiment. This is the Swiss Round 2 at StarSeries Season 6, and we do have another best of one coming your way. We're going to be coming right back after this break. Make sure you don't go anywhere, and if you do, you better bring someone back with you. We'll be right back.
Loot Bet. With Hellcase multi-cases, you are no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code and dive right in.
I'm a soldier, I'm a fighter. Can't burn me, I'm the igniter. Gonna be a legend, gonna take it all. Watch me crush it like a